What's going on, everybody? It's your boy GemMint, and I'm back with another Omnibus haul, and it's a TMNT heavy haul today, man. We got 3 Turtles books, the Source book, volume 17 from the IDW run, and one of my most anticipated hardcovers, the TMNT Adventures, the Archie Comics hardcover compendium, volume 1. Plus, we've got an early look at the Giant Size Marvel Omnibus, we got the Justice League, and we have the Absolute 0 Year, the Batman Absolute Edition. So we're going to go through all these books. Before we jump into it, though, I have a GemMint exclusive drop. That's right, man. We have a drop for the Paraz Entertainment Dream Killers issue number 1, a beautifully painted cover by Humam Quatab. This is a GemMint exclusive. As you can see, we got the logo on the back. Super limited print run here. Only 81 made of this regular edition, which is a Spider-Man 1 Todd McFarlane homage. It's the Purgatory, the Sands of Time Bear. We got a couple other great trims too, man. We've got this Virgin cover, which is also an acetate cover. Only 24 of these made, and you get that beautiful Virgin cover, but the trade dress as that acetate. Then we've got this cool Prism one, which we only made 8 of them. One of my favorites, the gold trim, limited to just 10. Then we have the rainbow foil. There are only 2 of these out there. And then the 1 out of 1 metal cover. Man, what a crazy cover this is. 1 out of 1. I'm going to drop these over on Encore, which is an online selling app. Encore is just like eBay. You put up a listing. It could be an auction for up to 7 days. It could be a buy it now with the best offer. But instead of uploading pictures, you post videos. This way you can describe the item that you're holding, give some history, some backstory, point out any potential defects, and they have a great giveaway system as well. I drop giveaways weekly and they last for up to 6 days, so you don't have to rush and schedule time to join a live stream and have only 5 minutes to enter. It's there for 6 days. Watch this video, enjoy it, and afterwards, download Encore, use the link in the description or in the pinned comment or on the QR code, and check out what I got in the Buy It Nows, if I have any auctions or giveaways, and definitely check out the new drop for the Dream Killers issue 1. It's been a minute since I did a GemMint exclusive. So with that out the way, let's jump into the first book. We got the TMNT Source book. Man, I wasn't going to even get this until I realized that this is a great companion to the IDW run. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, so like I said, I saw the solicitation for this. I didn't think anything of it, but then I saw somebody post this up on Instagram. And when I realized, like, oh, this is a must-have compendium to go with the IDW run, I decided, you know what, let's add it to the collection. I have all the 17 volumes. I've got the Mirage stuff. I've got the Archie stuff now, so we might as well add this Source book. And it's pretty much what you would expect. This is a book that really gives you a breakdown on all the characters, locations, everything that's going on within this world that they've built over the last 14 years. This one retails $60. And you can see we got the turtles on the back, even with the new turtle. It has the ribbon just like in those other deluxe editions. And it's essentially like one of those Marvel encyclopedia books that they used to do, but for IDW turtles. So here's a table of contents talking about ancient Japan, which I love how they tie that lore in with the turtles in the beginning of this run. Origins, threats, and friends from New York, the Mutanimals, Fall of the Foot, Planets of Dimension X. Like you can imagine, a companion, something to go with the IDW run so that you really can put all the pieces together. Maybe somebody shows up, you forgot who they were. You could look them up in this encyclopedia type of book. So, like I said, just a companion, but I figured since I had all the other ones, might as well pick this one up. Bebop and Rocksteady, General Krang, the Trial of Krang, so they have everyone that was involved with that. So cool stuff to kind of reference as needed. I really do want to start a read-through of this run, man. I think I fell off around the time where Donatello becomes Metalhead. I don't really want to give spoilers, but the whole Metalhead arc, which I feel like was around issue 100 or so. Future of the Foot Clan. Karai, of course, becomes the leader, Shredder's granddaughter. So, a cool little book. Not much to talk about, but I thought it was great. Look, you have a little index. So, full companion to that run. All right, keeping it TMNT, let's jump into volume 17. I'm a little bit behind on this. I would like to get caught up, but I kind of want to do a whole reread through. Great stuff with the IDW run. Let's take a look at the most recent volume. All right, guys, so volume 17 is here. We got the Rat King on the front. Was this delayed or something? Because I feel like It was solicited long ago, and it just recently came out, April 1st, I believe. So you got a red spine, similar to the first volume. Here we have the back. It collects Teen Spirit from the 40th anniversary comic celebration, then issues 133 through 137, the Alliance 5-issue series, and the Armageddon game, the 6-issue series. That's from like 2023. So we're getting caught up. This one retails $60 as well, just like that source book. Opens up to some nice kind of wood interior pages. Looks like we got Shredder there. Here goes, I don't even know who these guys are. Oh, are these the geckos? Not the geckos, the frogs. Anyway, table of contents, staying in theme with all the other ones. I remember they had these little avatars. Here's Teen Spirit. So I'm behind on this run, and I don't really know even where to pick up. I used to do videos on them. I don't know. Would you guys be interested in a TMNT IDW read-through, volume for volume? I would be interested in reading. Oh, wow. This is funny because this cow, the cowlick, the time travel, or yeah, I guess it helps the turtles time travel from the Archie comics. That's funny. We're about to look at that next, but that severed head of a floating cow head. All right, so you got Donnie through the streets here. I guess he's back. Armageddon game. I really just remember the variant covers that they had during New York Comic Con. I was doing a lot of stuff with Whatnot at that time. I remember the Armageddon game. The Alliance wasn't even on my radar. So that's the thing with these deluxe editions. It's like the pro and the con at the same time. There's only a handful of issues from the actual ongoing because it collects all of the miniseries, which I guess you would rather it collected than not, right? But yeah, those 2 miniseries, the little one shot, and what is that, like 5 issues from the main storyline? Here it is. Oh, this is it, baby. I thought this was canceled. Well, it was canceled, but then it was re-released. The TMNT Adventures, the hardcover compendium, volume 1. Look how they did the spine. I'm thinking this might be 4 volumes based on what they need to collect. So if they do orange, red, blue, and purple, that would be beautiful. No dust jacket, just a straight hardcover that is much larger than the TMNT by IDW. We're going to do a comparison, and we're going to flip through. This is my childhood. So much nostalgia with the Archie TMNT comics. I hope I don't spend too long on just this book alone. I probably could have done a video by itself, but you know what? It's with the haul. Big, bold spine. This is the first out of all of these TMNT hardcover editions that have the cartoon logo. And that's what I loved about this comic book series as a kid. This was an adaptation of the cartoons and the toys. It wasn't black and white. They weren't all red headbands. They were the characters that you played with and that you watched on TV. And what an awesome hardcover compendium. It's kind of weird. We'll compare it to the Mirage era, but it looks like super wide. It collects the 3-issue miniseries that was kind of like adapted from episodes or vice versa. And then it has its volume 2 with 1 through 17. It's a 72-issue series. So that's why I'm kind of figuring, what is this going to be, 4 volumes? Because in addition to those 20 issues, it also has the Zen Million Year to Birth, The Nightmare on Monster Rex, Metamorphosis, A Forgotten TMNT Adventure, Origin of the Species, Yo Ho Ho, and A Bottle of Mutagen, Doomsday Hassle and Banshee Castle, and Red Sails in the Sunset. So it has a bunch of one-shots and special editions that were coming out during that time with a $100 cover price. But don't go paying retail price for these books while they're in stock. You got to check out organicpricebooks.com, heavily discounted. They have pre-order options, bomb-proof packaging, fast shipping, and you could save an additional $2 by using code GEMMINT at checkout every single time. And if you're overseas, if you're in the EU, check out Comics Bugle. Same thing. You can pre-order there. You're not charged until the book actually ships. They have great packaging made from recyclable material, fast shipping, customer service. You could save $5 off your first order by using that same code GEMMINT at checkout. And they have a reward system where you can build up points that leads towards free books. So that's organicpricebooks.com in the States, Comics Bugle if you're overseas. And like I said, it's kind of weird. No dust jacket. It's kind of somewhere in between the Mirage hardcover compendiums and the IDW deluxe editions. They're taller than those hardcovers, and they feel like they're wider. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but they definitely seem to be a tad bit wider. I guess if I go like this, maybe. I don't know. They're a little bit taller and a little bit wider. And let's see, are they taller than these as well? Yeah, a little bit taller than the deluxe edition. So kind of weird. Let's flip through this, and then I'm going to put it on the shelf with the rest of the hardcover TMNT books. But man, I am just so happy that this even got made. Beautiful watercolor turtles with the space cow, like I mentioned, wingnut and screw loose leatherhead, Mana Ray, aka Ray Fillet. I forget who this gecko guy is, or the chameleon guy. I always remember that I had that comic book as a kid, and they did an homage to the Raphael one-shot with Casey Jones. So here we go, an introduction by artist Ken Mitroni. Ken Mitroni. That was a great intro, actually. Table of contents with all of the credits, who wrote it, the artists. Here's issue 1. So the TMNT Adventures was originally just a 3-issue miniseries, self-contained. You had the first appearance of Bebop and Rocksteady in comics. And you had kind of a retelling of the origin, very similar to the cartoon. Same origin as the cartoon, with these kind of Technodrome robots that break out the Warthog and the Rhino to make Bebop and Rocksteady. Here goes issue 2. These are super collectible, man. People love these books, especially getting them slabbed and everything. I love the art, man. I had so many of these issues as a kid. The neutrinos from Dimension X, Krang with his body. Got April O'Neil, the turtles, with the turtle van, with the blimp. You guys ever see that meme? They're supposed to be trained as ninja and move in silence, but they got a big-ass blimp. Then we get into the main volume, issue 1, TMNT Adventures. Love the artwork here. The covers are great, and then the interiors are more so like the cartoon was. You got the Technodrome, all this stuff that we didn't get in the Mirage era. We're essentially getting everything TMNT comic related, which is so awesome. I had this issue with this Baxter Stockman, whatever this is, construction device, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so they actually they did something unique with the pages too. Like, you actually have the newspaper-like aesthetic on the page with a small white border. Splinter, man. So I flipped through this whole thing front to back. I had so many of these issues growing up, man. This is what I used to read. And then the Mighty Mutanimals and all that. Check out this Action 1 homage. So here we go, moving forward. Just to kind of give you an idea, here goes Ray Fillet. He was in a ton of issues. And then they had that whole thing where they get transported to another dimension. I had the Leatherhead issue. And they wear those wrestling costumes. And then Donnie ends up wearing, is it Donnie or Raph? Raph ends up wearing that all-black costume for like a good amount of this run. Here we go. Stump Arena presents. So here's where the turtles get transported, and then they get these weird wrestling costumes. Yeah, I think it's actually Raph, now that I think about it. Yeah, Donnie got the bow, but he got the red bandana. Here's the Forgotten TMNT Adventures, little couple of pages with that cow again. That's funny that they brought the cow back. Here's Wingnut and Screw Loose. Raph still in that all-black unitard. He jumps out of it for a little bit, but then he gets back into it. Here goes this homage. They homage themselves, but for Archie Comics with this gecko guy. I'll never forget this, man. I had this as a kid. I feel like they even had like a hardcover book for it. You had kind of vehicles that the toys had, which was cool. So this was like, if you grew up with the cartoon and the toys, this is the comic that best reflects those. Then you got the IDW run, which is the more modern, realistic take. They do have some later volumes they need to start collecting too, man, like the Image stuff after the Mirage years. I had this comic book, issue 12. All right, so that's enough of this. You guys get the idea by now. Super stoked and happy that this came out. I'm cool with the format, the trim size, oversized hardcover book. I'll take it. Let's actually go ahead and put these on the shelf now and see what they look like. All right, next up, we got an early look at the giant size Marvel Omnibus. Essentially, it's a compilation book, but it collects all those giant size issues. And it's funny, I recently did a video going over key issue comics. We were on GPA looking up giant size X-Men 1, and I mentioned how you never get love for giant size X-Men 2. Well, funny enough, there are a bunch of giant-sized titles for Fantastic Four, for Avengers, for X-Men, and they're collected in this large volume. Let's jump into it. All right, the Lone Marvel Omnibus, and it's an early look. This comes out on May 27th, and they made 3 covers for this one. So this is the giant-size X-Men cover, not the cover, but this is like the big splash page that's used for the standard cover on this one. Then you have a Gil Kane Supervillain Team-Up Direct Market Edition, as well as a John Romita Sr. Direct Market Edition. Kind of think that the standard one is the best way to go on this one. When you think about giant size, you think about giant size X-Men 1. Big boy spine, Silver Age or maybe Bronze Age Iron Man on the back. Massive, huge stories. So what's it collect? Giant size Superstars 1, giant size Fantastic Four 2 through 4, giant size superheroes featuring Spider-Man issue 1, giant size Spider-Man issue 1 and 4 and 5. Giant size Chillers featuring The Curse of Dracula 1. You get giant size Dracula 2 through 5. Giant size Creatures featuring Werewolf 1. Giant size Werewolf 2 through 5. Giant size Defenders 1 through 5. Giant size Avengers 1 through 4. Man-Thing 1 through 5. Chillers 1 through 3. Supervillain Team Up 1 and 2. Giant size X-Men 1 and giant size Invaders 1. Now, the funny thing is, where's giant size X-Men 2? I don't know why that's not included. $150 for this one. Inside of the dust jacket, talking about these giant size, oversized issues featuring all of the iconic creators. There's a ton of them because obviously there's a bunch of titles, a bunch of different characters, and a bunch of different stories. Then we got the wraparound cover. You got Vision, you got Thor, Cap, Iron Man. I'm not even sure who this is, to be honest with you, but nice art on the wraparound. Opens up to some black cover pages. Here we go. Giant size Marvel, big Spidey on the front, all the credits, table of contents, and then jumping into the giant size Superstars featuring Fantastic Four. Thing vs. Hulk was the huge rivalry back in the day. Who's stronger? All right, what do we got after the issue? It looks like it collects the bonus material from that issue too. Got a Mole Man pinup, Scrolls, Miracle Man, Doom. So that's all included. Then we get to giant size Fantastic Four. I can kind of see now why Marvel published this, man. Fantastic Four is coming. I have high hopes for the movie, and it looks like we're going to get a lot of content to go with it. So a lot of FF stuff, Reed Richards. Here we have more pinups at the end. These are kind of similar to annuals. They're oversized. Look at this, Morbius and Werewolf with Spidey on the back. Presenting a Righteous Rogues gallery. So look, the Burglar from AF-15, Chameleon, Vulture, going in order. Where's Paste Pop Pete at? Giant size Dracula. So you get the idea. It's a compilation book, but I think it actually works more because it's collecting all the giant size issues, right? So a lot of times compilations can be, I don't know, character themed, creator themed, but this is kind of like format themed. It's almost like if we got an omnibus filled with all annuals. You got Wonder Man's coming out. You got Wonder Man versus Thor here. And then the Man-Thing stuff. So cool. Nice big Omni to add to the collection. Otherwise, man, you'd have to source a lot of different Omnis to try to collect this. I'm sure some of this stuff has never been printed. Here's the most famous one, giant size X-Men one, featuring the first appearance of so many of the new X-Men characters. First of all, Krakoa, the mutant island, who became its own thing. And then in the back, there's some house ads, some more bonus material, original covers, which is always cool to collect. Way cheaper than buying the original art. Here we go. Every giant size issue contained one or more reprinted stories as bonuses after the main story. So Marvel also published other giant size issues that consisted entirely of reprints. So this is where you get those kind of covers. So even that stuff's included in the back. Annihilus. Here goes Hulk and Iron Man. Giant size was a big thing, man, in the Bronze Age. Pretty cool, man. Next up, we got the Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV. This is after Dark Knight's Metal. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, so here we go. Volume 1 of Justice League. Like I said, Snyder and Tynion. Only one cover on this one. DC doesn't really do the variant covers much. And here is what it collects on the back. So you have the stuff that follows Dark Knight's Metal leading up to Death Metal. So essentially you get Aquaman 41 through 42. You get the Aquaman Justice League Drowned Earth 1, and then Justice League issues 1 through 18 with Annual 1, Drowned Earth 1, No Justice 1 through 4, Titans 28, plus a story from DC Nation issue 0, retailing $125. Here we have the Justice League on the front of the hardcover. It's that Rebirth era, same spine kind of on the hardcover itself. And then you have the Legion of Doom. You got Gorilla Grodd with Cheetah, Lex Luthor, Black Manta, Sinestro, and of course, the Joker. Man, DC still has these tight covers. The binding on this is kind of tough, man. But you have these cover pages with some art behind it, which is pretty cool. Here's the cover page with the credits, your table of contents. And then jumping in, some Jorge Jimenez art, which I love. I was reading this stuff in single issues as it was coming out. So, like I said, we're out of Dark Knight's Metal, and it's leading up to Death Metal, the Justice League No Justice storyline. You got Brainiac taking down the Justice League. DC actually is kicking it up a notch, releasing a lot of Omnis, especially pretty recent stuff like this. Great artwork throughout here. Looks like they do have page numbers on here. A lot of times they'll include the table of contents, but you won't get the page numbers. All right, so after No Justice, it goes New Justice, and then here's issue 1 of the Justice League. Got Batman here, Scott Snyder, Jim Chung. So some gap fillers. I'm a big fan of Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal. Death Metal, a little confusing, but having these types of books that bridges the gap in between is super helpful to understand what's going on here. This one is a lot to do with Lex Luthor. He's building his own team, which is the Legion of Doom. And as he's doing so, emerges the Batman Who Laughs. And then that's a partnership that might be a little bit too much for even Lex Luthor himself, as the Justice League and the Legion of Doom have to deal with the Death Metal event. A lot of stuff dealing with Aquaman here. It goes cosmic. You got the Source Wall stuff. You've got Aquaman Under the Sea, and then of course you have Hawk World with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Some variant covers after the Virgin cover, so the George Jimenez cover, and then here is a Lucio Perillo Aquaman, Jason Momoa inspired cover. So modern stuff getting printed in Omnis. I'm not mad at it. Keep it coming. DC needs to catch up with the printing pace of Marvel. Get us all this content collected in omnibus format. It looks like we have, what is this? Maybe a variant cover gallery at the end. You have bonus materials. So you get an interview with Scott Snyder. All right, then we have some sketch variants, kind of like a progress on the Wonder Woman cover. Same with this one, Justice League by Ben Oliver. The progression covers are pretty cool. Here's Starro, kind of a Brave and the Bold homage there. Tyler Kirkham stuff. Jim Lee cover with Scott Williams. So you got pencils to inks. Here's some more pencils. So pretty cool to get some bonus material from DC. And there should be another omnibus to complete the run coming soon. All right, lastly, we've got the Batman Absolute Edition for 0 year, and I really like what DC has been doing with these acetate slipcase covers. Check this out. You got Bruce Wayne with the mask coming off of his face on both sides of this. This is Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, New 52 stuff. Let's check it out. I'm a fan of what DC is doing with these Absolute Editions. They're really like having fun with it, man. Like they'll do flocked covers, acetate covers, they'll do leather-like covers, like the stuff you'll see with Preacher or Sandman, things of that nature. Really high quality stuff. Here we have some Greg Capullo, Bruce Wayne, 0 year. This is an arc out of the New 52 run, like I mentioned. So you have the slipcase there, and this one retails $125. Then the art on the actual hardcover, more Capullo art with the similar spine. Same art on the back, but different color scheme. All right, opening up here to the cover page. Here we got Batman and Riddler. This is actually the cover of the actual cover for one of the Omnis, I remember. All right, so we get an introduction here, little Riddler tease. This is Batman 0. Oh, yeah, so I guess we should say what this collects. You know, with the Absolutes, it doesn't really show you the same way as the Omnibus does. What does this collect, actually? So Batman 0, like I said, then 21 through 27, 29 through 33, and Batman 0 Director's Cut Issue 1. So there, that's what you get. Here goes the Red Hood stuff. So I already have this in the omnibus format. Obviously, there's 2 Omnis that collect the entire run. With the Absolute Edition, you do get the larger trim. The artwork is as large as you're going to get it. And when you have an artist like Capullo, you kind of want to go big. Here's the 0 year. I remember thinking that the Pattinson Batman was going to borrow heavily from this. And maybe it did in the sense that it was an early time in Bruce Wayne's career, just like with this. But, yeah, it didn't really pan out the same at all. It does have a ribbon here. Who wants to wear the ribbon? Yeah, so as your bookmark. But, yeah, this one, it was kind of weird because you jump into the New 52 run with the Court of Owls, and then you go back in time, and they tell you this story, this 0 year, the first year that Bruce Wayne is Batman. But it was a good story. I mean, they made it an Absolute Edition. So they have Court of Owls. They have Death in the Family. We might get the whole run in Absolute format. But, yeah, I wanted to bring this one in to show you guys and check out this beautiful art myself. But I'm going to probably stick with the Omnis here. Classic cover. A lot of people might still have the singles for this, man. Yeah, but one of Bruce Wayne's early battles fighting against the Riddler. And then we get a variant cover gallery, which is cool. We get the Jacques cover. Here's some Capullo stuff. Some more inks and colors together. Origin of Joker, very cool. Really a Detective 27 homage, this one as well. Kind of like a Funko Pop look. Remember they were doing all these Robot Chicken covers. Adam West stuff, Mad Magazine stuff. So a pretty decent bonus cover gallery in the back. Here's the director's cut, which will basically give you the inks with little notes on it and such. So that was just a comic that was released, but that's included in here. Here you have the director's cut script. Scripts are fun, but I'm not really reading the scripts, to be honest with you. And then some original art, some inks from these issues. Dang, look at the detail in this, right? All right, y'all. So there we have it. 0 year Absolute Edition. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the haul. I got the TMNT books up on the shelf where they belong. Did you pick any of these up? Are any of them on your radar? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to check out Encore if you want to support the channel. Pick up one of the Dream Killers issue 1. Like I said, we got about 81 of that regular cover, but then we have a couple of those fun variants if you're interested in them. Appreciate you guys watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.